Miami Dolphin fan, let me ask you something. You love the Dolphins? Do you think they are the greatest football team? How about the greatest show on surf? If you answered yes to any or all of these questions, then fins up and surfs up to the greatest show on surf.shop today. Celebrate the most explosive offense in the NFL with this awesome exclusive merch. From jackets, hats, shirts, and more, they have it all. Use promo code FINSTALK and save 15% on your order. Show off your fandom. Don't wait. Go to thegreatestshowonsurf.shop today.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And
all right, as always, Dolphins number one, baby!
So fins up to all you guys. Thank you for
I just want everybody to remember, we may not always agree on everything Miami Dolphins, but there's one thing we do agree on. Is we are all Dolphin fans. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm your host, Steve Malloy, and joining me, the famous, a.k.a. Rob Mosley, Dolphin Thirsty. How's
Fins
it going,
up,
Rob?
guys. Fins up, thumbs up. You guys rock. I hope you guys all had a great holiday. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope it was great. Hello, Vito in the house. It is super duper to have you here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas and an up and coming Happy New Year here soon. So, wow, Rob, what a weekend! Miami Dolphins beat the Dallas Cowboys 22-20, and we have clinched a playoff spot. Man, I am just excited about that. How about you, man?
I was super excited. A little too close. I texted you a couple times as I did Evan. I'm getting too old for this stuff. I may have used another word, but I'm getting too old for this stuff, and I can't take it. But in the end, it was like emotional. It was great. Good to see Tua come through. Of course, Mr. Sanders has to get most of the kudos. But when it was on the line and Tua had to do it, he rose to the occasion. I had to throw that in there. He did excellent. It was a fun game to watch, nerve-wracking throughout, but a win. I loved it. And now it's on to Baltimore. But Victory Monday was extra sweet because, as you all know, outside of our division rivals, of course, the Dallas Cowboys are my least favorite team in the NFL. So it's great to get a victory against them.
Oh, I hear you, brother. And I want to welcome everybody that's in the house. We got the dolls in the house. Don't forget to watch her show, Rob. What time is her show on again, Rob, on the Dolphin Thirsty channel?
This week it's going to be 7 p.m. Thursday night on Dolphins Thirsty. And she's going to have Finn Mom 40, Shannon, and it happens to be Nick Needham's mom. So if you guys really want to check that out, 7 p.m. Thursday night. And temporary, I'm back. I booted my son out of his room. He's still home from college. He's here through next week, but I said I needed it. They're noisy out there tonight. Duke in the house. Fins up to you.
Yep, I want to welcome everybody in the house tonight. We got Duke, we got Vito, we got Evans in the house, and we got the doll. So we got a bunch of people in the house that want to welcome you. And please hit that like button if you're new to the channel. If you're watching and you're not in the chat, I don't see you in the chat, but you are watching. Go ahead and subscribe, and of course, share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. And before we get started, Rob, I want everybody to remember. We may not always agree everything Miami Dolphins, but there's one thing we can agree on. We are all Dolphins.
That we are, Steve and Evan. I had to throw Evan that makes sure
Evan is a Sanders fan.
Yeah, and Adam, big fins up, 11-4. Let's go. Hey,
how you doing, Adam?
Joe.
Hooked up Joe's in the house. Glad to see these guys are popping in. So Man, I don't know where to start, man. I'm just so happy. I'm so I just can't wait. Heck, for this next game coming up against the Ravens. But let's talk about the man of the hour. I got to give my kudos to Tua Tagovailoa. He led us to the win. I mean, he led us in that last drive, and we scored. He managed the offense to a T. He executed the plays that he was given by our coach Mike McDaniel. We went down there and we scored. I mean, we stuck with the run, and Mostert came in there hurting and in pain. He came in there and scored that touchdown on that pass by Tua Tagovailoa. So, got to give credit to Tua. Look, was he perfect this game? No, he wasn't perfect this game. He was off a little bit here and there, but the man did not have any turnovers. He had no interceptions, no fumbles. Well, he did have that one fumble, but it wasn't his fault. That was a bad snap. And guess what? He picked that ball up and threw it for a first down. So he was really had a good game in my eyes. And so I'm just so happy about this. How about you, Rob? What do you say?
No, it was great, man. Like you say, Tua did it when the money was on the line. Dallas gets that touchdown where they hit, Cooks for the touchdown with Ramsey and everyone up there in coverage. He made a beautiful catch. What are you going to do? That's football. Sometimes you just got to tip your hat and say, the guy caught a tough pass with guys on him. He did. I looked at my sons and said, well, this is Tua, because they always like to use, they're young. So they all like, this is going to be, they always talking about legacy and this. I go, well, you guys are always talking about legacy. Well, this is going to be Tua's legacy drive right here. He better drive us down the field, and we better at least get a field goal to put us ahead. And lo and behold, not only does he do that, the Dolphins milked the clock beautifully to where they ensured that the very last play was either we're going to cry in our milk all night or we're going to celebrate with our chocolate milk all night. And we celebrated because Sanders hit number 5, his number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. I'm bad with the numbers there. So 5, but he hit 5, and so he's the hero for the day. Should be special teams player of the week. He kicked us to victory. Tua did exactly what he had to do. He took what they were giving him. He didn't try to play hero ball. Didn't try to do anything outside his scope. He hit players that were open. He knew we had enough time to go milk that clock all the way down and go to the end, and it was a beautiful thing to see. So, for all the crap Tua gets from a lot of people from time to time, it was good to see him step up when needed and give a big W to our Miami Dolphins.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've been a big critic of Tua, but I call it like I see it. And the man had a good game. He managed the game well. It took us down there on that last drive, and we got that score and we won the game. We had a lot of good plays on that drive. Jeff Wilson, Vito mentioned Jeff Wilson. He had a good drive of running the ball, running tough, running hard, got really physical. And I was very surprised the way this Miami Dolphins, defense and offense played. They didn't let the Dallas Cowboys bully them. They're a physical team, and they didn't let them get bullied. They didn't let themselves get bullied. So I got to give them kudos on that too.
And Duke mentioned Durham Smite. That was good to see Durham Smite season. He actually got factored in the game. One of his good games of the year as far as receiving. He's done his job all year, but it's just not in the limelight. He got a little limelight coverage against the Cowboys, and it was nice to see for sure.
Yeah, no,
Josh Wingate checking in from the Facebook.
Hi, Josh Wingate. How are you, brother? Yeah, it was nice to see Jeff Wilson get involved. We had Mostert was in there. Waddle, I know we may have lost him for the remaining 2 games of the year here. And even Tyreek came in playing with his hurt ankle. We had a lot of guys banged up that were playing. They played the game. They came in there and they knew how important this game was, and they went in there and sucked it up and did their job. So it was just a great overall team win. Got to give a kudos to Sanders, Jason Sanders. The dude kicked a 57-yard field goal, right? Was it 57? I think it was 57. 57-yard field goal.
3 over 50.
3 over 50.
Yep. And then, an extra one, and then the game winner, which was short, and it would have ruined everything if he didn't make that short. But that's probably the most pressure kick
Yeah.
He threw all the narratives out there. He went up there, put that ball right through the uprights. We walked off victory. I love the reaction of the team. Him and I know it made the circles and social media, but to see Claypool celebrate, and people say, "Oh, he's probably not going to be happy here." That man was running off the field celebrating like we just won a playoff game. He was excited. I love it. McDaniel looked focused. I love it. Drew Brooks, the head of security, gave him a big hug coming
Yeah.
off the, but he just had that serious look. He said there's no time for celebration. He knows what's at stake. He knows that we have to go win now. There's no time for play, and it's great. I love to see the team seems really focused.
Yeah, they need to keep that focus. But Hooked Up Joe even mentioned it here in the comments. He said that this was probably played our best game of the season. I got to agree. It wasn't pretty, but we did what we had to do. So yeah. So it was just a good game, and our defense has just been stepping up. They just been getting better and better every week. They're all clicking they're clicking on all cylinders. And we're missing folks, we're missing Phillips. We're missing in AVG, Andrew Van Ginkel stepping up. And as we've talked about before, when AVG's in the game, we win most of those games. All of them, so he's been a factor. He's been a factor in this defense. He's all over the place. He plays in coverage. He plays on the edge. He plays the run. He's just an overall good player. Overall, I love his play and his toughness. Bradley
and
Chubb.
you're right. Real quick, let me chime in. Evan, you are right. We do need to start off better because we always, when we win the toss, we always select to defer, but then you end up letting them drive down. Luckily, this game, we got the fumble down there on the one to a play that goes under the radar. That's why you play every single play, because a lot of people, why is he going all out to make a play on that 1 yard line? They're going to have first and goal, and lo and behold, very next play, they fumbled the ball. We get the ball. So Deshaun Elliott, under the radar play that saved us, because if they get a touchdown there, we probably lose that game quick, or we would have to go for it more and get, instead of kicking field goals, you have to go for trying to make up for those points. So I loved how the Dolphins responded there. Very hard fought game throughout. But yes, I agree with Evan that the defense needs to just come out, get some 3 and outs when you first get, so get that offense a chance to score first, even though you gave them the ball first.
Yeah, that could have been bad start for the defense, but hey, they came through. They got the turnover, and like you said, Rob, Deshaun Elliott, I like his play as well. He really fits into this defense very well. He made that play, and he tackled that guy with one arm. It looked like.
Yeah, he knocked him right there. It's perfect. I should have given credit to Courtney. I did hear that in the couple minutes I was in their show.
Okay.
So, but Courtney, you did. I should have thrown some credit at you. And Evan saying that means I'm a good listener. So it's all good. But anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just like
you're good. You're good.
Comments.
No, you're good. That's good, man. Chime in whenever you want to, Rob. But yeah, for sure. Deshaun's Elliott's play. So I'm just happy. I'm just very happy about this team. Now we've got a tough team coming up. We've got the Baltimore Ravens coming up. This week. It's going to be a tough matchup. The Ravens are a very, very good team, and they've got an X factor on that offense, and that's Lamar Jackson. The guy's he's a great runner. He's a good improviser. He's very good he can throw the ball. He's playing with rookie running back. He's playing with a likely the backup tight end. He's playing with guys that maybe not, big name guys, but he's getting the job done. And they have a tough offensive line and a defense as well. In fact, I've got some stats here. I know you and I, Rob, are not into the big stats. That doesn't mean anything, especially this time of the year.
Right.
But I know a lot of folks do like to hear them, and it does it does kind of give you a little insight of both our teams, where they're at. And I called the game on the pregame show, Rob, on Dolphin Thirsty channel. I said it was going to be 24-23, and it was 22-20. So
You're very close.
Yeah. Very close. It was. I said it was going to be the teams are pretty. They're evenly matched, and they were, and we saw that in the play. And this game coming up, I think it's a possibility. I don't know how you feel, Rob, and I'll get to you in a second here and ask you the same question. But is this Baltimore defense and this Baltimore offense, do you feel they have the edge on our offense when we're playing their defense?
And like you said, it's hard to know until you see the actual matchups in games.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare them because you watch them against the 49ers, you're scared. But then a couple of weeks ago, the Rams put up 30-something on them. So
right.
It's really hard to know from week to week in the NFL, because every week, all the talking heads that get paid a lot more than you and I to talk about football, they anoint some team, the team of the week. The 49ers were the cream of the crop until last night. Now everyone's saying the Ravens are the greatest thing ever. And so it's hard to say week to week, because last year they kind of had us beat all game, and then we came alive in the fourth quarter. Yes, some people's changed on the off, but on their defense, they still run the same schemes and they run a lot of the same personnel. So we have had success against that defense before. So it's going to be interesting to see, man. It's hard to say, though. I mean, every time I say, oh, but we did this, and you compare it to other teams, until you actually see them on the field against each other, it's really no hard. But yeah, they come in good ranks. I mean, they're good on both sides of the ball. I mean, you watched last night; they played well on both sides of the ball. So.
Yeah, and that's what I'm concerned about, is they played against a good defense, and they bullied them. They completely bullied them. That offensive line of Baltimore, they bullied the defensive line with Boza and Chase Young and all those guys. They bullied them, and that's the thing that I'm concerned with. Now, do I think that our defense can't that they're going to bully our defense? I don't know. I mean, the way that our defense, it seems to me like our defense has just been playing better and better every week, and you can't deny that they didn't play tough against this Dallas offense. I mean, they were putting so much pressure on Dak Prescott. He was running for his life half the time. So they did put the pressure on him. Let me just go over some of the stats, Rob, since we're on that topic of comparing the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, we all know the Baltimore Ravens, they're 12-3, Miami's 11-4. They beat the 49ers last week 33-19. 33-19. Very,
convincing win.
Yeah, very convincing win. Now I'm going to go start with the defenses on both sides, Dolphins and Baltimore. Now the Baltimore is and I want everyone, when I go through these stats, I want you to keep in mind, listen to the TDs that they've allowed on both the Miami's defense and Baltimore's defense. This is a very significant. Okay. The Baltimore Ravens defense, they're ranked 6th. Miami's defense is ranked 4th. All right. The Ravens defense has allowed 22 touchdowns. Keep that in mind. Miami's defense has allowed 37. 37. The pass defense, Baltimore is ranked 6th. Miami is ranked 10th. They've allowed 15 TDs on their pass defense. Miami has allowed 19. So relatively even there. Rushing defense, they're ranked 12th. Miami is ranked 5th. Again, TDs they've allowed on the Ravens defense, rushing 5 the whole year. Miami 13, which is not much either. That's not a lot. Scoring, their scoring defense, they're number 1. Miami is 13th. They've allowed 16 points a game. Miami, 20 points a game. Red zone. They're ranked 3rd in the red zone. Miami, 26th. So that's the comparisons of the defenses of the teams. Now, to me, the biggest difference, and you saw it when I just went over that, are the TDs allowed. That can make a big difference in the game, because I don't care about the stats. What I care about is what the score is at the end of the game. And their defense is very, very stingy.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over the offenses real quick, Rob. Do you have any comments on that, Rob?
No, but hey, Courtney's confident. She says their defense isn't scary. So that's Courtney. Hey, I like it. We need some confidence.
I like that confidence.
Me too, because I am scared of it a little bit. So I like that.
I'm not scared, but I'm concerned. I'm very concerned, and that's
maybe Hooked Up Joe has a fact. So the Ravens put them all out there, but the thing is, they know they still need to beat us to be the number 1 seed, so they're going to come full throttle.
Yes.
But maybe yes, they did lay it all out there, and sometimes you do come a little flat the next week. I find, and they're coming off a short week. They're coming off a short week where they played late last night, and now they're coming into an Evan Posner has never brought this up. They're coming off a short turnaround, and so we got that on our side. So
but then they're playing in their house.
So, I know. We played in their house last year and came. I know it's 2 different teams.
2 different teams. This is not.
You got to look at the positives. A lot of their
absolutely.
Their defensive schemes and who they have coaching them all up are the same. So
absolutely, no doubt about it, Rob. We got to throw in that. Be optimistic about this. Now let's go over some of the offense. Miami's and Ravens offense. Their offense is ranked number 5. Of course, Miami's ranked number 1. I don't think they have been ranked any lower all year. I think they've always been number 1.
Number 1, stealing my son's Tua jersey. I decided to hang there. But
now the Ravens have scored 46 TDs. Miami 55. So they have the edge there. Passing. They're ranked 21. Miami ranked number 1. They've got 20 TDs in their passing game on offense, and Miami has 27. But remember, the X factor is Lamar Jackson. Rushing, they're number 1 in rushing. Number 1. And they've scored 24 touchdowns rushing the ball. Miami's ranked 5th, but they are ahead with scoring TDs. They've had 26. They've scored on rushing. 26. Scoring, they're ranked 4th in scoring. They're scoring 27 points a game. Miami's ranked number 1 still, and they're scoring 30 points a game. Remember, our defense played against Dallas Cowboys, and they were ranked number 1. They were scoring 31 points a game. Miami scoring 30, and you see the turnout there. So they didn't score but 20 points against us. Red zone, they're ranked 8th in the red zone, and Miami is ranked 3. So our defense really tightens up in the red zone. So that's the stats. And as I said, as we were talking earlier in the before we started the show tonight, Rob, I think the biggest factor in this game, X factor, is going to be Lamar Jackson. We're going to have to stop Lamar Jackson. This guy's he's very, very hard to sack. He really is. And he can make plays with his arm, and he can make plays with his legs. And he is not Dak Prescott. He runs a 4.340.
No, he's fast, man. He had a huge run on us last year for his career long run. So the man can run. He's going to be tough to contain.
Yeah.
But hey, this is it, man. We're a good team too. We can't overlook that. Joe did bring up some fact here that we are banged up going into this game.
That's true.
So, So it's going to be tough, but we got to come out there and we got to win. Hill will go for sure. He's banged up, but he will go.
Yeah, I think Hill's going to have time to heal this week.
Yeah, and he will go. I mean, this is like basically a must win unless you really don't mind having to have the division title come down to the game, with Buffalo to decide, because I don't see there's any way that Patriots beat Buffalo. I hope it does. I just don't see it. So we have to take care of business, so we don't have to worry about other teams taking care of business for us. Let's just go out there, win by any means necessary.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I agree with that 100%. For sure. But going into this game this week, I think the keys to the game is Miami's going to have to run the ball. Now, we said that about the Dallas game, and look what they came out throwing the ball. So apparently, Mike McDaniel saw some type of weakness in the Dallas, passing defense.
Yeah.
And they came out throwing the ball. So, but I do believe that right now, this team that we're going to play this week, we're going to have to run the ball. If we do throw the ball, Tua's going to have to do what he did this last game: spread the ball around, get Smythe involved, get other receivers involved, and Mostert, I think, is banged up as well, so there may be a chance that he doesn't play. So
yeah.
We'll see. And that's going to be
Evan,
up to Wilson and Achane.
Yeah, Evan, I know I am happy, but man, it just kind of show you, man, they don't really respect the Dolphins. I think they don't think the Dolphins have a chance to go and beat the Ravens, not giving us their number one broadcast. I mean, this is the number one seed going against the number 2 seed in the AFC, and we don't even get their number one broadcast team. So I just don't think they think we're ready to step up. I mean, they're playing Cincinnati. Their number one team is going to be at Kansas City, and so to me, that's just kind of funny that they don't even give us the number one team. But hey, we'll see. Hey, she says if we win, I'll get a burial. I'm still waiting for Jason Sanders jersey for Evan, so don't worry, Joe. I won't hold it to you too much. I only pick on her because I happen to like Braxton Burial. So she always says no shade at Xavier, and I should have my one exemption card. No shade on my channel. But this is Bobby's channel, so she can throw shade here, and Steve so I let her throw shade at Braxton Berrios. But
no, I like Braxton Berrios too. In fact, I wish they would have gotten him more involved on the offense than he has been. I thought he would be a sleeper, and he's come up with some good plays. And he's been solid on special teams. So he's definitely one of my favorite players, actually, because of his versatility. So, I wouldn't.
Duke, I hope you're right. Anyway, sorry, Steve. I thought you.
No,
sorry,
I
cut you off midstream again. I thought you were done.
You're good. Go ahead.
So,
what were you going to say?
I hope you're right. I keep on saying that, but he hasn't been the same since he's come back from these injuries.
Yeah,
maybe they're not just giving him that much because they don't want to throw him in there yet, but save him for this push. But it would be nice if they can find a way to use his speed. If we can't use Waddle, I mean, get him on the outside more. Try to get him some ways to get that ball. So
yeah, it would be. But he's been dealing with that foot injury. And you know what? And every time he gets hit and he gets up, you can tell he's still favoring it. He's hanging in there. He's hanging tough. He's a tough runner, but you can see that I don't think he's 100%, Rob. I really don't. But let me ask you this. Rob. And I'm going to ask you folks in the chat as well. I like to get you involved. Yeah, Scotty, you're right. Berrios has been dealing with knee issues all season. You're right. He has been on that injury list. But anyway, let me ask you this, Rob, and I want to ask the folks in the chat as well. Like I say, get you guys involved. Do you think that that some of these players that are banged up, and since we have clinched a playoff spot, is it more important for the Miami Dolphins to rest some of these players that are banged up to save them for the playoffs since we already know we're going into the playoffs? Or do you think we should just go ahead and play them and just try to win out.
Okay, if they
And
can play, if they
you
can
think the
play,
seeding is more important?
if they can play, they need to play because we've seen us making the playoffs where we have to travel on the road. I don't want that. I want us to have a home field advantage. So you go all out. Obviously, you're not going to play an injured player, but if it's a question like, well, he could probably play, but we don't really need him to know. You put him out there to play. You should be treating all these games like they're the playoffs in my book. Like I say, I understand if they're hurt, do not play them. But if it's just a question of like, well, they could play, they think they've been trained by the training staff, and the player says he can play, let him play. Obviously, the training staff is going to be the end all be all with the doctors included in that to make the decisions. But if they sign off on it, you got to let them go out there and play because do you really want to lose the next two and back into the playoffs? I mean, come on, you don't want that, because then you're just playing on the road again and have to win 3 road games. And then it'll be probably against this very Ravens team we have this week. Why not win that game and flip the script and have that game at Hard Rock in the playoffs if we need it? So that's how I look at it. You play them, man. You don't rest them unless they just can't go. If they're hurt, they're hurt. And by all means, it's their futures on the line. Protect them. Don't let them play. But if they can go out there and play, they better be playing.
Yeah. I see I'm getting a lot of comments here, and I think a lot of folks do agree with you, Rob. If they can play, if they're banged up and injured a little bit, as for example, Tyreek, he came in there and he played, and he was a little banged up. Same with Achan. And then of course Evan says, be a little cautious too as well. So I don't know. Does that mean, instead of him in there on 50 plays, maybe only 35 or 40 plays, rotate him in and out? I don't know. I'm sure Mike McDaniel, will do what's best for the team and the organization, of course. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm with you though, Rob, and I'm with most of the folks in the chat. If they're able to go and then play, man, because I want to see them. I want them to be the top seed. I want them going in the top seed. I want them to going into the playoffs with some momentum. And getting their groove on. They need to be playing at 110% right now. So I agree with you.
Because anything short of an AFC East title this year to me would be a failure at this point. If you lose the next 2 and you let Buffalo clinch the AFC East again from us, it's just like, here we go again.
Yeah.
So, to me, you just have to go out there and win at least one of these next 2. Of course, I'm going to beat Buffalo if there's only one, just because it's Buffalo. But you got to go out there and try to win both of these games. Which they will. I see it in their eyes. They want it. It's just a question of being able to do it. Those are 2 big different things because the Ravens are going to want it too. But you can't lose the next 2 games and concede the division to Buffalo, because then you got to go to Buffalo in the playoffs, to Baltimore in the playoffs, Kansas, whoever. You don't want to go into all those places and expect to come out on top all 3 times in a row if you can't get it done in the regular season up there.
For sure.
So to me, it's like you got to go out and you got to win these games. You do not want to concede the AFC East at this point. That would be awful.
Yeah, I'm with you on that respect, Rob. I hope I'm pronouncing this name right. Shekel, welcome you to the chat. I appreciate you for joining us tonight.
A regular at Miss Fins, and sometimes finds Dolphins Thursday too. But he's a regular at Miss Fins, or he. I don't even know. Some of these names I can't tell who's who. But yeah, anyway, so I just try to go by names. But we crushed it last night. Yes, you and Courtney, the part I got to see, you guys crushed it. Good show. If you guys haven't watched it, go back and watch it, guys. It was a holiday special with Courtney and Evan on this very channel last night. And yes, the Hall of Narcs is at 9:00 tonight. I will be watching it, and it should be perfect. So Shekel.
So Rob, what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, is if anybody wants to join the show tonight, go ahead and drop that link. If folks want to come in here and give their 2 cents of how they see this game going this week, I'd love for you all to come in and chat a little bit. We'll give you your time.
While you're there, hit those thumbs up. I like to say fins up, but hit those thumbs up. It helps the show. It's free to you, and it really helps the network and the show be found. And any thumbs up would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask this question to you too, Rob. So far, in the last, let's say 2 to 3 games, do you see Mike McDaniel, our coach, getting better at his decisions as far as play calling at the right time? I think his play calling has been excellent. I've questioned some of the times that he's made the calls, like giving up the run at certain times or whatnot. How do you feel? Do you think he's made improvements in that area?
Overall, I think Hooked Up Joe, and let me talk, and then I'm going to bring Hooked Up Joe into the
Absolutely.
show. I think he's done fine overall. There's not a coach in the NFL, and then going back to Don Shula, that you can't question at some point during the season. Oh, he should have done that. He should have done that. It's easy to sit there because we play the result as fans. Because if he throws it and it's a touchdown, we're all like, woo-hoo-hoo. But if he throws it and it's an incomplete pass, and we're like, why didn't he run the ball? If he runs the ball and it gets stuffed behind the line of scrimmage, we're like, oh my God, why didn't we do a play action pass and throw the ball? So we get the joy and the privilege of second guessing, playing armchair quarterback and playing the result. But overall, yes, I don't think there's a coach in the NFL right now. And even if you go talk to 49er fans, they probably think he should have pulled Purdy last night, who wasn't looking so Purdy. So
you took the words right out of my mouth.
So that's just how I look at it. Just not a coach in the NFL. I mean, the ones up for coach of the year, this and that. You're not going to at some point as a fan say, why are you calling that? Because we all think, remember, McDaniel said it in his own press conference. Sometimes he's like 2 or 3 plays ahead already. Oh, I'm going to call this. If they stuff this and it becomes 2nd and 8, then I'm going to call this. But if it's 2nd and 4, I'm going to do this. So he has all this processing through his mind. So the thing with Mickey McDaniel, my slight little knock, because I drink the Kool-Aid. This is really water, but just for a visual image, I drink the Kool-Aid on Mike McDaniel. But sometimes clock management is a little off, and we have to burn timeouts, and that bugs the heck out of me because you can see almost every play clock getting down again. And I thought we had gotten over that, but the past couple of games now, we get that play clock way down there. But other than that, I love Mike McDaniel. He's a long-term coach like I had in my youth with Don Shula. I believe in this man. I think he's going to be the long-time future coach of the Dolphins. And with no further ado, now that I ran off like Evan runs off and not shutting up and not letting other people get in, I'm going to bring in Hooked Up Joe to the stage.
All right, great.
Hey, Hooked Up Joe.
How's it going, Hooked Up Joe?
It's going great. And kind of just pick up where you were talking about McDaniel.
Sure.
I've seen a definite improvement. I mean, last year you could see some first-year coachingness in him, and this year I think you're seeing second-year coachisness. And, you see that improvement. And there's still stuff he's going to naturally work on and need to improve. Like, saying this is the game, this is the play I shouldn't call in Hard Knocks, and then the next game he called it and it wasn't successful. That that shot to the corner of the end zone, he's like, damn it. Right. You know what I mean? So though one thing I really, really like about having him as a head coach is somebody like the Campbell. He's a cool coach, and he's a good coach. He's doing a great job with the Lions, but his offensive coordinator is part of that too, right? And so the deal with that is a lot of these teams, you see them go to the Super Bowl, and then their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator gets poached, and there they are with nothing but a great head coach, but not much else. So
good points. Good points. Yeah,
but I tease. You haven't told Courtney, you and I always tease, but you have to admit, you get on a roll sometimes, and we all tease you. It's hard to get a word in. So, but anyway, he's great, guys, but I see that all going in. Let's see. Scotty was saying, that fade in the Wilson screen for underneath route, which I'm about washed out.
I'm staticky, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit, Joe.
Yeah.
It's all right. You'll be all right. How do you see this game this week going? What's your not a prediction, but how do you see it?
I see it as being better than it looked watching them last night. I mean, you watched them last night, and it's like I think it's going to be a little bit of a turnaround, and they're going to come in here flying high like the Jets did, and you know, the Jets, they hit that flock of geese, and then Ravens are going to hit something and not be flying so high. I think they're gonna come back down to reality when they meet us at their house, and we compete with them in a very good way. There's not going to be that runaway game. I mean, with that many turnovers, it was actually not that much of on the scoring side, you know. Right. So yeah. I've been watching them all year, the Ravens, because they're our big team, and I'm just not impressed game after game. I mean, even as much as I should be impressed, I'm not as impressed as I should be. So I'm just expecting them to come in on a high, and I think we're going to do a lot better than people think we are. And we're going to win.
Good.
Yes, thirsty. I'm married to a Canadian, so yes, I know they are very polite. It was just a good. I think you know though, like you, I can ramble on too once I get on my point. But yeah, I agree what you guys say, man. I mean, to me, he's improved. The players seem to love him, which is very important in today's NFL. You know, it's they seem to go out there, they play for him, they love it. They said they were all confident. They had Javon Holland on the radio show today, and he said there was like no doubt in any of their minds. They said, I mean, if it comes down to a long Sanders field goal, they knew they were going to get it. Or that Tua would lead them to a touchdown, or that they just all knew they were on the sideline saying, listen, the offense got our back this one. We're focused. So I love hearing that. And he said, we knew we had it planned up, and it fell exactly how they planned it. So it was perfect. So I love it.
Yeah, and I agree. I like McDaniel. And Joe Joe made a good point. You know, he does the play calling and he's the coach. But he also has a really good cast with him. I like this coaching that he's brought, you know, or he's chosen since he's been our coach. I like all those coaches. I like our defensive back coach, Sam Madison. I like the wide receivers coach, of course. And you know what? His name escapes me right now.
Wes Welker, the receiver.
Wes Welker. Coach. There you go. Yeah. Wes Welker. I like Wes Welker.
I was already thinking something you said about when you said, oh my God, now your name escaped me. What's the defensive back that you said? The defensive
Sam Madison.
Sam Madison. They haven't really showed him much on Hard Knocks. Now that you made me think, oh man, I haven't seen Sam Madison much on Hard Knocks. You know, I've seen Welker make appearances and other people. Did see a brief fancy old appearance one week, but I haven't seen much of Sam Madison now.
He's doing. He kind of, you know, hides behind the background there, but he makes a big difference in this defensive backfield. You know,
and he is out there in the media too.
Yeah.
Do I sound better now? I think I fixed my audio.
Good. Yeah,
Thank you for letting me know. I had plugged in my
self, Joe.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. I had to check my settings. I plugged my camera in, and it switched over and thought it was the best thing in the world, and it was going to be the microphone too.
Yeah.
Okay. So what were you saying? Hooked up, Joe?
Hell, I forgot. I'm that old. So just keep going. I'll chime in again.
Yeah. So hey. Wow.
But yeah, I was just making a comment that I like this coaching. The organization has some really good coaches.
On that.
You know, look, I'm not ready to give my flowers to Butch Berry. I know some folks are, but to be quite frank with you, I don't think it's, of course it's part of Butch Berry as well, this offensive line, the way that it's been playing. And I've got to admit it's been holding up better than I expected. But I think a lot of that has to do with, and another guy on the Finns Talk Sports Network, Brett Lagasse, I think he would agree with me. He's mentioned it as well. A lot of it is the scheme, is the McDaniel scheme, the way that he's scheming these players. And we got to give credit to Tua Tagovailoa. He's been getting that ball out very, very quick. So I think that helps a lot with the offensive line as well. But anyway, but with the rest of the coaches and things, I think they've done a great job. I don't think we give enough credit to Daryl Bevel. I don't think we give enough credit to him. I'm sure he's had a lot of, you got to give credit to him for Tua's development as well. I think.
Elbow is a guy I'm afraid is going to be poached from the
Yeah,
Dolphins.
that's one
Actually,
guy.
I think
Yeah,
now,
you're right.
can I throw in something on the coaching
Yeah,
thing?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that Frank White is also being
Yes.
potentially poached, and the
Frank
reason
Smith.
Bethel,
Smith.
the reason, thank you, the reason that Bevel didn't leave is because he is next in line. If Frank Smith,
Right.
did I get his name right this time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ends up getting
Hey,
poached
if you like
because
baseball, Frank Wright's an old-time baseball player.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he got choked up a little bit when they were talking to him about being, head coach. If somebody came to him and offered him a head coaching position, he's going to take it. But I think he's the only poachable item we have. Fangio's not going anywhere. Fangio has had enough being a head coach, and he's making as much money being a defensive coordinator, and he is fine being the best defensive coordinator,
Right.
especially
Unless he
start winning
decides to
Super Bowls.
retire, I agree
He is
with
he is going nowhere. So to me, I feel like we're locked in with this dynamic duo of coaching. And I've always said it, the best depth is coaching. The reason that all of our depth is doing so great is because they're in the right place. They got the right technique. They can jump in there and do the job. They have the confidence of the coaching staff. Everything you need for that second string to be good is what we have in a coaching staff. And that's why my long-term projection for the Dolphins is that this is not a fluke. This is a long-term situation that we're in, because even no matter what roster we have, and Steve, to your point, exactly what you're saying about Butch Berry is kind of what I've been saying and not getting a great feedback on it, frankly. But I agree that because last year I saw us go from the 32nd offensive line all the way up to like middle of the pack, somewhere like that. And on the top of that, we were playing people off the street last year. I mean, lots of people off the street.
Oh, yeah.
And they're still
absolutely.
working. So that tells me that even before Butch Berry, we had the ability to get people off the street and get the worst offensive line and get those people coached up. And when we had these raw materials and we turned those into something functional before Butch Berry ever showed
Well, this
up.
week is going to be a tough test
Yeah.
on that theory, Jehovah. So it's going to.
Yeah,
I
no,
agree
no.
with you, though.
But that's we need to what you're saying, and I'll piggyback what you're saying, Hooked Up Joe, is yes, we all know that Chris Greer is probably not the best guy at drafting offensive linemen. So that's a very critical position, that offensive line coach position, because look, Armstead's not going to be here much longer, and look how many games he's played this year, right? So we've had some injuries on that line. Wynn has been injury prone since he's played with New England. So we've got some players on that line. Kendall Lamb, I think he was with us last year. He was one of those guys that we pulled off the street, I believe. But the key is the development of this. Yes, the key to this development, Lester Cotton, all those guys, that we have this year playing, is the key to this offensive line is going to be development, and that all starts with the coaching. So yeah, that's something that we haven't been doing in a while, and I'm hoping that we can do better, maybe do better in the draft. We can't do better in the draft, then get guys. And I said this last year, we don't need elite players across the O-line. We don't. All we need are good, average, solid players, and I think we'll be fine. And my point is actually, coming to fruition this year, because we don't have those superstars playing on the offensive line in the few games that we've played without Armstead, that we played without Robert Hunt, that we played without Wynn, that we played without Connor Williams, and that was a big loss.
Hey, but Brad's Bandit, thank you for chiming in, and Ray Finkel, we see you. I didn't get to give you a credit, but hit those thumbs up button if you're new to the. I know Ray Finkel's not new to the channel, but if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hey, Kohler, big fins up to.
Kohler's here. I got to stop imitating.
Kohler commentaries in the house.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you coming in, Kohler. And I see Scotty. I didn't mention him earlier. He came in the house. We've got Brash is in the house as well. Appreciate you, brother. Ray, everybody that's in the house, it's in the chat. I appreciate you stopping by and spending some time with us talking Dolphins football. Please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And that's all free.
Thank you, Brash. Thank you. He hit that for us.
All right, great. That's wonderful. Appreciate it.
So, but like you said, Steve, this team has gelled together through injuries, through different things, and hopefully that trend continues because this week is going to be the toughest. I know we say it almost every week during these final 3 weeks. Dallas was the toughest test up until now in this one, but the Ravens are tougher. They're coming off a big win last night against what everyone was saying was the best team in the NFL. They went into their house, the 49ers house, and kicked them around. Yes, Purdy wasn't Purdy. So, some people like the Ravens created some of that stuff. It's not like he just went out there and sucked. They created some of that.
Yeah.
And, hopefully McDaniel, I'm sure they're dissecting every single play of that game last night. Saying,
Absolutely.
Okay, what did they do to take all this away from? Because, McDaniels and Shanahan's offense are very similar to each other. They each have their own take on that style of offense and their own little freshness to it.
Man, that's a good point. That's a good point, Rob.
Yeah, we're actually kind of on the extreme. I heard somebody else talking about it. There's that Shanahan offense, and we're kind of on one extreme of the way you'd run that offense, and he's at the other one, kind of like the run pass setup and some other things.
Well, I look at it kind of like a Mark Marks type scheme. You got Marks, and then you've got Shanahan, and then you've got McDaniel, adding in his little tweaks here and there. So I think, in my opinion, I think it's a combination of those three.
Yes, we run the McDaniel offense for sure, but he's still going to have bits and pieces from wherever you come off that tree.
Of course.
But like every coach, they want to start off on their own, and we run that offense. But McDaniel's offense definitely has its own wrinkles, and we'll see it's going to be a good matchup this week, But
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. I saw people joking yesterday. Oh, McDaniel should, before they got the beat down, the 49ers got the beat down. People were saying, oh, they should talk to Shanahan how to beat the Ravens. I'm like, well, I don't think you want to get that. I don't think you want to learn. He hasn't learned himself how to beat the Ravens. So I saw people on Twitter yesterday saying they should reach out and he should talk to his buddy. Like they really talk in the NFL when it's all out for grabs. But they were saying they should call Shanahan and find out how to beat the Ravens. Well, I don't think that'd be a very good lesson based on last
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you're right. Hey, let me ask you this, Hooked Up Joe, since we got you on here. And again, I appreciate you joining us tonight. I listened to you on Dolphin Thursday. I listened to you on the Dolphins Thirsty channel as well. I know you're on his channel, Miss Finn's, all those great podcasters out there. But I want to get your opinion or your take on what do you think will be the three keys for the Miami Dolphins to beat the Ravens this week?
Okay, the obvious one is stop Lamar Jackson from being Superman. And the second one is stop Lamar Jackson from being Superman. Pretty much if you stop Lamar Jackson, you're really not going to do much else. If we can just shut him down. They don't have a great running game. He is the running game. If you look, I looked back at their games. Yeah. He's the top runner in over half the games.
Right.
And just that type of person that has to be the Superman. I think when you go all out like he just did, and then we go into this game, I think a Superman type player has a hard time with that minus day and a half of rest and preparation. And so I think the key to victory is just slow him down, and I don't really think you have to worry about much else. I'll just call that all three of them.
Okay, and I've said the same thing tonight. I said Lamar Jackson is the X factor. We for the Baltimore. I was going to say Baltimore Orioles, the Baltimore Ravens, and if we stop him, and we can contain him. I think we've got a really, really, really good shot of winning this game. Right now, I'm a little concerned. I'm going to give the edge to the Ravens because they are at home and they do have that X factor. And they're a very physical team, but then again, so was Dallas. But I'm still gonna give the edge to Ravens right now. That's how I see it. And you're right as far as their defense. We've got to stop Jackson.
Hey,
Because he makes
Steve, we
that.
got another guest in the
Okay,
Sharif.
sure.
Sorry if I say your name right. Sharif, are you in there?
Oh, Sharif,
Oh,
yes,
Sharif.
yes, sir. I know Sharif.
Hey, good evening, guys.
Hey, good evening, Sharif. Glad to have you back again, brother.
Yeah, man, I'm just here home in the Bahamas. We're preparing for the Junkanoo celebration.
Okay.
It's around Boxing Day,
Uh-huh.
and so yeah, but a lot to be happy for the Dolphins, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Sharif. I agree 100%. How do you see this game coming up this week? What's your take on it?
Well, two things. I think I made this comparison to make a point yesterday. I think a lot of us who are above 40, we kind of, I think what we're happy with is finally you have, reading defenses. We can say Tua is better than Tannehill. I think we had
Oh yeah.
Lucas and we had Cleo Lemon.
Oh
So
boy.
Tua's athleticism is matching them. Field general in terms of Jay Fiedler, I think Tua is right there with Jay Fiedler in terms of field general accuracy, right there with Chad Pennington. So if you ask yourself, Dan Marino is retired 67-7, and you want something close 30 years later, I can say we have that. If you ask me if he's our franchise quarterback, I would need to see wins. That being said, this game Sunday, um, I think Fangio has to take a page out of Flores' book, and I think he has been going out of his character. He's blitz Dak.
Yeah.
He's actually blitz Zach Wilson. So I can see him. He has the corners, number one, to do the zero blitz. Number two, if he does it, it will be something that is new that Lamar is not used to. We got 8 sacks. I think the last time we did that to him,
Right.
we really frustrated him and Harbaugh. So if you need a big win, I think you have to change things up and frustrate Lamar and
Yeah.
sack him a bunch of times. I don't think you go in the generic zone. You see what happened to San Fran. I don't think you do generic things against this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to think outside the box when you play against Lamar Jackson because he is outside the box, right? So we definitely going to have to change it up a little bit on as far as he goes. And I see that Scotty made a good point. He said Tua pre-snap. I have to say he is top 3 pre-snap quarterback. What he is doing, reading the defense and moving players, is insane right now. Yeah, I agree, Scotty. And he definitely is very good at reading pre-snap and maneuvering or manipulating the linebackers and things of that nature in the backfield. He's number one at that. I think he's really good at that. And going back to what you said, Sharif, as far as Flores goes in playing this game, defensively, yes, I agree 100%, but also offensively, Flores got the best out of Tua with what tools he had and what he knew as far as offense goes, which wasn't a lot, but dink and dunk, throw some short passes. Tua was a master of that last couple 2 years ago with the Flores offense, and I think we need to see some of that in this Baltimore game as well. A little bit of the run, a little bit of dink and dunk, and moving the ball and throwing the ball around to different players. That's how I see it as well. So yeah, that's a good point you made.
Oh, a lot of good points by all you guys.
Yeah.
Guys, it's almost time for me to have to run out. Steve and I
No,
have
me
to.
too. I got to run too, and I want to just say I
Make
appreciate
sure you
all
hit
you
those
guys.
like button, guys. We got a lot of people in here tonight. I love it. Hit those like buttons if you haven't done so already. It will help the fins up spirit this week getting into this game.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. Again, I thank all of you guys. Sharif, appreciate you coming on, brother. I appreciate you. You always have some good points. Very articulate.
thank you, Sharif.
And like you hooked up, Joe, you're the same, man. You've got some great points. Enjoyed your conversation with us tonight on the Fins Talk Sports Network. All you guys in the chat, appreciate you. We couldn't do this show without you. I see Raphael's in there. Raphael Verdisa is in there. I know I probably messed up his name, but appreciate you for.
He's one of the regulars, so we know he's subscribed already here. But yeah,
Absolutely.
he says we got a fight coming up, but I wouldn't have any either. Whether fins up, gents, then bring on the Bills. This has been quite a year.
Agree.
I love our defense. I believe our coach will have. There we go. So that's perfect way to end this show.
Perfect.
Guys.
Perfect. Again, thank you guys. Don't forget to hit that like button before you go
that's
out.
Bobby's dad. Raphael was
Bobby's
Bobby's dad.
That's right. Yep. Appreciate you. Like I said, hit that like button as you're going out if you haven't hit it already. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I see some other names in here I haven't seen. So appreciate you for joining us. Hope you come back again. Hope you enjoyed our talk here on Fins Talk Sports Network. Rob, again, brother, thank you for coming on again tonight and joining the Real Talk Fins Talk Sports Network. You and I have we've been doing this for about a year and a half now, and I hope we continue to do that. And I just appreciate you. And where can people find you, Rob, before we close out tonight?
Dolphins Thirsty YouTube channel at dolphinthirsty.com. Dolphins Thirsty YouTube tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. I'll be live, and then Thursday night, Doll's going to have a great show live. She's going to even have Nick Needham's mom on the show. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, guys, Sharif, thank you again. You're awesome for coming in, and big fins up to you over in the Bahamas. Enjoy Boxing Day.
Absolutely. All right. Again, thank you, guys. And remember, Dolphins number one, baby.
Dolphins number one.
Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Canesware today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida, and check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you are out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.